What's up, gang? We are back with more X-Men Next Dimension. We're going to talk a little bit about all the ways you get to hurt your opponent and the insane system that allows you to do it. So, if you think about, let's see, what are the games this is similar to? Oh, just like Mortal Kombat. This is very much dial a combo. Each character has a ton of strings that allow them to do different things. And put the opponent into different states that either grant you frame advantage, let you cancel into things, um, or what have you. So we're going to talk a little bit about all those different states and what you can do after them or how you can combo out of them, things like that. But also um, talk a little bit about the strings themselves and how that works. So firstly, uh, these strings are very hard to hit confirm, um, in that once you're kind of in it, you can't, like, if this hits, I would say it's a little hard to get hit confirm only because I've never really played this game competitively. So how about that? It feels hard to hit confirm, and you want to keep your combos short if they are blocked, because your opponent can counter. They can counter punches. They can counter kicks, lows, as well as air attacks. So you want to stay unpredictable, and luckily, most characters have a ton of different strings to keep your opponent guessing. And those can, have mix-ups built in. That was overhead low, so you can do this, which is pretty tricky, and stuff like that. So this game has a lot of different strings. Each character has a lot of different ways to mix up the opponent. Um, when it comes to canceling, this game is kind of interesting in that, like MK, only certain moves out of strings are cancelable. So and then different to MK, only specific moves can be canceled into. So this is 1-1. You can only cancel into Cyclops' high optic blast. You cannot cancel into low. You cannot cancel into his down back 4, which a lot of his moves also cancel into. You can't cancel into his down back 1, which is a terrible move, by the way. We're going to talk about that later. But yeah, so only specific moves can be canceled into from specific strings. So you're fairly limited in cancels, but that doesn't really matter because, well, we'll explain. Um, Strings can lead to one of, let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six different end states. So the first one we're going to talk about is a ground splat. Uh, there you go, ground splat. This only gives you frame advantage. Unless you have a 0 frame OTG super, you cannot capitalize off of this. And I say that there are many exceptions to rules in this game, but uh, only specific characters are capable of comboing off of this stuff. So you'll notice I have the opponent set to tech anytime there's not a true combo. So there you go. Um, so that is ground splats. You can get ground splats. They essentially confer just frame advantage. Like I was saying, you can run up and do whatever. The opponent can tech sooner than what you saw, but still, you get frame advantage. Ground bounces are exactly what they sound like. Little launcher, and then you can just continue your combo. Um, there are launches, which are sort of, they launch higher than ground bounces, and that's it. You can just do damage. Kind of cool. Um, there are air seeks. So air seeks are any time you are able to knock your opponent into the air. The game kind of breaks apart, which is awesome. But air seeks sort of do that in a very cinematic and exciting way. Um, this is supposed to be sort of like, I imagine when they came up with it, they were like, okay, this is going to be sort of like a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Super Jump. You can do some cool stuff in the air and like beat up your opponent. Really fun, and it is really fun. It's a really cool introduction to the thing. It's just crazy because it breaks it. So typically you're not allowed to air seek more than once in a combo. However, if you reset damage scaling like I just did right there, you reset the combo counter, you can. Cyclops can't. He only has one air seek move, and it doesn't. The first hit doesn't hit aerial opponents. But people like Rogue, people like Havoc, people like uh, Nightcrawler, Gambit, all those characters can re-air launch, re-air seek in a lot of their combos. So that's pretty cool. Um, Also, you'll notice th- the entirety of the time. So unlike in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, where like the opponent is knocked up into the air and like they can block after a certain point if you don't capitalize on that moment. Um, but here the opponent is you can hit them the entirety of the way down, which is pretty dope. So there's a lot of combo opportunities that are opened up there. Um, and like I said, it's an easy way to reset damage scaling, as you saw. Anytime the combo counter resets, there you go. We've reset damage scaling. We did it again. So that's just an easy way to rack up tons of damage. And you can also do that off of a ground bounce, because some characters don't have access to air seeks like Blob and Juggernaut. Cool. So we also have staggers. So staggers are kind of they're an interesting addition to the game in that I I don't know quite how they work. I don't know. So basically, this is a stagger. Your opponent gets shunted back, they get knocked down, and they slowly get themselves up. Thing is, a lot of times they can block. So like that move, which looks like they should be hit because they're still getting up, um, will not hit, and they can block a lot of attacks. So like this is a very quick super. They can block it. I believe they can even stop his level 3, which, yeah, they can block that. So that's kind of interesting. But then there are certain moves, like 2-2, that 100% hit. And I couldn't tell you why that move is an exception to the rule. But typically, a lot of stuns, a lot of moves that are stuns, will hit. I don't know why. Um, Also, from staggers, just kind of an interesting tidbit. That's where Cyclops. That's where Cyclops' only infinite comes from. Off of this move, he can do this to infinity and beyond. It's not really interesting, and it's not super fun, but it comes off a quick overhead, and you can do it forever. Um, the other thing that's interesting, if you have a 0 frame super, you can combo. So you can 100% combo into his level 4. And the interesting thing is it doesn't, because it's 0 frames and you shouldn't be able to combo, because you do, it does unscaled damage. So it's like it's not even a part of the combo. So you'll notice the combo counter reset. Oh, I just missed completely. The beam width on this move is very small. There you go, 38 hits, unscaled damage. So there you go, kind of crazy. The last bit, the last move is probably the craziest move. It is a stun. So stuns are, they're sort of where I see it, like they break the game on a not a fundamental level, but like they they introduce so many free mix-ups, and they allow so much damage. Okay, so let's just get into it. So certain moves like 2-2, like what is it? Forward 3-3, 1-2-4, bop. Yeah, just a bunch of moves create a stun state for opponents. In this stun state, you cannot tech throws. We'll go over throws after this because throws are also insane. And you can't do anything. So that means if you wait for the stun to end, you have a free 50-50, overhead or low. Or if you're sneaky like Cyclops, you can do overhead low into launch, and then you can reset damage scaling from your air seek or whatever. So stuns are pretty crazy. Also, some stuns do way better, cooler things. You can only stun once a combo though. So you notice this is 2-2, which normally stuns. You cannot stun after that. The opponent will just drop down. Um, so cool. There you go. That's stuns. Stuns are insane and allow so many cool combo opportunities because you can sort of reset yourself. You can plan for other attacks. You can move meter around, and they just I think they're awesome. Stuns are super cool, but really crazy. It's just a crazy mechanic. What game gives you free stuns? You know, not many. You can't mesh out of them. You know, uh, so yeah, stuns crazy. Um, and actually, let's talk about sort of what you can do from stuns outside of. No, let's not do that. Let's talk about throws now. So throws reset damage scaling. Yeah. So after a stun, if you have like a long combo, uh, let's say okay, let's see what combo do I want to do? So this combos resets the damage scaling, and suddenly you have a 20,000 damage combo. Like that's it. Um, so throws are insane. If you can combo off of throws, especially your air throw, your character is probably pretty good. Um, yeah, that's it. If you can fit an air throw in and you have the possibility to OTG or to continue your combo after an air throw or ground throw, your character is good. Your character has access to a ton of damage as long as they can follow up. Um, Also, other things to think about as you're sort of playing the game and trying to work on combos and think about stuff. Uh, there is an untackable state. That little bounce after you hit the ground the first time. Bump, bump. So that is what creates the um, environment for infinites. Bump, bump. If you can hit them between that's the first and second bump, you can infinite them. So Storm, Nightcrawler, Gambit, um, Bastion, so many characters have infinites in this game off of simple, untechable. Cyclops is not. He only has this weird one. Uh, so many characters can just abuse this. What's super interesting is every once in a while, let's see if I can get this. If you. So that actually reset the combo counter too. After that untechable state, if you combo them after they hit the ground, you notice 7248. For whatever reason, you just get. This doesn't work with all. This is unique to Cyclops and Havoc, as far as I know. But that untechable state resets the combo counter and damage scaling and allows you to have a full damage super. Um, okay, so there you go. That is like string-based content combat and how to. That's like the nuts and bolts of combat in this game. Typical combo route is something like jump in, move into stun, into ground bounce, into air seek, into whatever you want, into air throw, which resets damage scaling, into super. Um, and that will typically take 2/3 of their life away, regardless of how much regardless of what you do. No matter what, it's super hard not to do damage in this game. Um, so yes, this game is amazing. It's amazing. And I think we'll talk about defensive options next time. And you know what? Before we go, just because it's fun, uh, there are so many moves. And if you go into sort of the move list, this game does not have the best moves in the these are not the most interesting, and a lot of them are just command normals. So like forward and one, like forward one is just it's called super gut punch, but it's not really a special move. It's just sort of a fancy command normal that lands a stun. Um, like spinning double fist, this doesn't feel special, and it's really bad. Like it's a really bad move, and I don't know why you would ever use it. Like you can't do much after it. You can't. You can land that, and you can't like it's not safe. You can't land like why would you? Why would you use this move instead of launching? Right? Like what's the point after a stun? I'm not quite sure why you would use a lot of the moves in this game. Um, oh, well, you know what? We'll talk about that at a later date. We're just going to go over some of more of the moves. So optic uppercut. Again, you'll find a lot of characters have moves that you're just like, why would I ever use this? So this optic uppercut it cancels from down three. I think that's it, right? Yeah, it just cancels. It cancels from down three. But why would I use this? I guess I guess because you can only cancel it's because you can counter punches and kicks. You can't one doesn't there's no universal counter. Um, if the opponent thinks that you're going for the kick version, you could bop them with the punch version. Okay, that one makes sense. That one makes sense to me. Um, Cyclops actually has a host of moves that are useful. He has beams that cover the entire screen. I'm gonna do Cyclops a Cyclops specific video because he's so awesome. Um, but there you go. That is offense in the game. In X-Men Next Dimension, you have a lot of really, really interesting stuff to play around with. Ground bounces, launchers, air seeks, staggers, stuns, throws that reset damage scaling, uh, you know, aerial attacks that reset damage scaling, just ways to utterly obliterate your opponent, and they're all awesome. So I hope this gives shed some light on sort of the complex system that this game is built on, and I hope it gets you hyped because this game is so freaking cool. Um, that's it. We're gonna end it there. Anyway, stay tuned. We're gonna talk about defense in the next. Yeah, let's talk about defense in the next video. Yeah, yeah.